This is a demo of the how to enter game results on the Soccer-tournament.us website. I think it's fairly straightforward, but enough people have had questions about it and been a little confused that I think a demo showing exactly how to do it and what options there are would be useful. There'll be a second video that will cover related functions to the report. Now, this is what the web page looks like normally. The important thing to note here is that the first column, which has game 1, 2, 3, etc. in it, is just black text. If you click on game 1, nothing happens. Now, if you're authorized to report scores, that will be a link. There are 4 ways to authorize, actually 5, but 4 primary ones. It's possible to allow public game reporting, which means that will always be a link for everybody. A more common one is to use a PIN code. If you have a valid PIN and use that on the URL like that, it becomes a link to the report form. Now, the hardest part of reporting scores is logging in my opinion. So if you send yourself an email with this URL with a pin on it, and then click on the email on your phone or whatever, it'll bring up the web page with this enabled, and then you go from there. So it's pretty easy. Now here we're going to start with these games at 6:10, and I'm going to click on the link. This brings up the report page, and the focus where I would type if I typed anything is on the goal scored for the first team. And down at the bottom there's save, unplay, and cancel. Cancel just exits it right out. Unplay will remove any existing game results, and also can be used to add things to the note field, like this game delayed or something like that. And all you do is enter the goal scored for each team. Now, if you have a keyboard with a tab key and a return key, this is as easy as entering 3 tab 1 return. Now I've just updated, you can see the scores in the schedule now, and down here Clinton has moved to the top of Group A. It's got 9 points and Springfield has 9 points, but the head-to-head shows that Clinton won when they played Springfield, so they're ahead of Springfield. Now, let's assume for an example that was the wrong result and the correct result was 0-3. It's not hard to fix it. You just report the correct result. So I'm going to add 0 tab 3 return. This page just shows that the standings have been updated, and you don't need to worry about anything. If there were any problems, I'd want to see a copy of this. Haven't had any problem for a long time though. Now, also at this point, Springfield has 17 points. The other 2 teams have 0 and have 1 game to go, so the most they can get is 10. So we already know that Springfield has won Group A, and it shows up in the bracket up here as the winner of Group A, and it shows in the schedule as the winner of Group A here. Now I'm going to go to game 7, and I'm going to use pop-ups on this one. Pop-ups are an alternate way of entering the goal scored. They're easier to do on a phone if you don't have a keyboard. And if the pop-up is used, it takes precedence over whatever's in the field here. I'm going to enter a 0, 1. The 0 is okay as is, but I'll enter 1 here, and then I'll click on save, and then I'll click on continue. And here we have a 0, 1. At that point, Webb City's in the same situation that Springfield was. They won the Group B, and they show up in the bracket and the schedule in game 14. Now in game 8, we're a 0-0 tie. The scores default to 0, so all I need to do here is hit return, return. We have a 0-0 result. And that shows basically how you do game reports. At this point, I'm going to switch over to Tournament Director. You would click on Admin here, which would bring up the login form. There, I've already entered a user ID and password. Hit Login. This is the admin page, and I cover these functions in a different video, but typically what you would do is just log in and then click on Schedule Results to get back to the main page, and this will be an active link, just like using the pen. Now, game 9, we're going to enter 0, 1. Shows that. And then 10. Now, typically group games, which this is, do not go to PKs, but I'm going to cut the video short before we get to the single elimination game, so I'm going to show how to do that. Assume we got a 0-0 game that goes to PKs. You hit tab, tab, you're in the PK field, you're in a 4, tab, and 3. Now, you have to use the keyboard, a keyboard, virtual or otherwise, to enter the PKs, but they don't happen that often, so it's not that big a problem even on a phone, at least in my opinion. We hit save, and continue, and here we have 1-0 KFM 4-3. That's kicks from the mark, same as PKs, but technically a little more accurate term. And then we'll enter a 0-2. Now, C1 and W wildcard are still undefined, so we're going to enter the last group game here, and we'll enter 0-2. And now, Group C is complete. Lamar won it. And the wild card is calculated because all the groups are finished. And you can see of the second place teams, Jasper has 11, Clinton 7, Carl's Junction 8, so Jasper wins the wild card spot. That's calculated for you. And then that's that. We basically entered 6 games in a fairly short period. If you're just reporting games, it's possible to do it in 10 to 15 seconds. But and that's all there is to it. There is one last way to do it, to report games, which is a little different than others. But if you go to admin and log off, now I'm just to the normal page here, and then come down to contact. It says please contact us if a game result is missing, it's wrong, etc., etc. On these two, if you click on that, it says you'll be redirected to the schedule results page with reporting enabled. Click on game number of the game to be reported, enter goals scored for each team. And we come back to the page here, and this is authorized now. Now, if I click on these, I get the same form as before, that we have a thing we can enter who you are, and it does say that it's not required, but you're more likely to be listened to if you put in a name and email. Then you hit send, and that sends this result to tournament director if they're in the email list, and the site administrator. And that pretty much covers how to report games. It's fairly simple. There's several ways to authorize it, and it's just used, the report form is used to do it. And if there's any questions about this, feel free to contact me via email or otherwise, and we'll see if we can clear up any misconceptions. Sometimes if I will make software changes if there's a need to clear things up. So that's all for now.